DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. At Merck Animal Health, we're shaping the future of animal health with pioneering science, connected technology, and insights-driven solutions to bring our customers an unparalleled portfolio of choices to improve cattle care and operational efficiency. We support you and your legacy by helping you meet the challenges of today with the innovations of tomorrow.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. We're going to have a great show. We have my friend, Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz, who's a veterinarian and an expert in cattle facilities, that's going to join us today, and we're going to start a series on cattle handling, facilities, and much more with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz.
When you spot BRD in your cattle, that's your golden opportunity to target infection and its associated fever with a single dose of Resflor Gold, the industry standard dual therapy. To learn more, talk to your Merck Animal Health rep or your vet and see label at resflorgold.com. Animals intended for human consumption must not be slaughtered within 38 days of treatment. This product is not approved for use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, including dry dairy cows.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and with me is my friend and colleague, Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz. He is out of Grand Island, Nebraska, Farwell, big city, suburb big city of Grand Island, and he's moved out to the burbs. And Dr. Kip, if you haven't met him, I'm surprised. If you're doing stuff in the beef industry, this is the go-to person today in our industry for cattle facilities, cattle handling, much more. And I'm lucky enough, I get to work with him every day, but doesn't mean we're ever in the same town.
No, we just talk to each other on the phone a lot.
Yeah. So, Dr. Kip, thanks for being here, but let's just kind of get started, because we're going to do a series, folks, with Dr. Kip on cattle facilities and things of that nature. And I just really want to help you all get to meet Dr. Kip and get to learn from him, because I've enjoyed that my entire career. So kind of walk me through, how do you get started? Someone calls you up?
So someone calls me up and just says I need new facilities, or
I'm tired. Yeah. I'm tired of this thing being backwards and cows climbing fences, and I finally made it and I want to fix it up.
All right. So I guess, Dr. Dan, what I typically do is take the phone call and find out exactly what they're asking for. So I always go over, I disclose what our charges and those things are going to be, just so that that's all upfront and open, and just so that we have a better plan. I can do some things on just off of Google Earth images or Google Maps images, and kind of get a feel for the place and what they're asking. But most of the time, the people always ask is, are you okay with coming to our facility and just looking? Because typically, you look at topography and how the ground flows and stuff like that, and there's just some things on a kind of a 2D image that you can't appreciate always. And there's programs on the computer today that you can kind of get that topography that you're looking at. But it's still, there definitely is an advantage to showing up and then just seeing kind of cattle flow and what they go through in a given day. So I really do try to study what they do on
and what they're trying to accomplish with their herd. And the other thing is, I always forget to ask you this, but I mean, you're everywhere.
Yeah. So I was in 3 weeks ago, I was in Utah. Today I was in Columbia, Missouri. I travel all over
Canada, Australia. I mean, so when I talk about designing facilities around the globe for cattle, it's no joke. This is for real. So you get there, you get on the ground, you see what they're doing. Yep. What are you looking for?
So there, I really try to see where are their pinch points. If they're working in the facility that they want changed or redesigned or remodeled or just ground up new, I look at what are they currently struggling with. One, what's their labor like, the help like? How are they handling the cattle? I think that's important, so that I know that the type of facilities I'm going to put in are definitely going to, if they're going to fit to the people, or if we're going to have to do a little bit of adjusting and training with the people once the facilities are in. Because what I'm always looking for is just a really, a true voluntary flow of cattle and so forth, is that it's easy. As I always tell people, I want it to be to where working cattle is not a task or a job. It's something that you look forward to doing, and you can have fun doing and enjoy. And so I look at those pinch points and just kind of like where are they struggling at, and then from there I kind of just take it and I talk to the crew a lot, or the owners, and just ask them questions.
Yep.
Is like, what do you like? What don't you like? What's the future look like? Like in the new facility, what are you trying to accomplish?
Yep.
So we go through those questions.
Let's take a break there.
Yep.
And when we come back, we're going to continue on this path with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz. You're watching DocTalk, and we're sure glad you joined us. Hey folks, Dr. Dan here. Welcome to Cattle Intel by Neogen. And today we're going to talk about ticks. And ticks have been now known to transfer a lot of different diseases to cattle. And controlling for ticks is important, whether it's spraying for ticks, and now we even have vaccines for ticks out on the market for cattle. But ticks can transfer things such as anaplasmosis, and now the new one is a parasite called tularemia, which looks a lot like anaplasmosis, but since it's a parasite, it does not respond to antibiotics. The big thing is, work with your local veterinarian on how to control ticks and how to treat cattle that have succumbed to tick-borne diseases. This has been your Cattle Intel Minute by Neogen.
Are you a cattle feeder looking to manage for a stronger and more profitable set of cattle? Look no further than Identity Feeder. Identity Feeder utilizes DNA to gain insight into your cattle's genomic potential, with the information to predict performance, quality, and economic endpoints for cattle feeders. Animals are scored and ranked in a simple format, driving more precise and accurate management decisions. Identity Feeder gives you the power to predict days on feed, manage variability within lots, characterize carcass performance, and focus on metrics important to you and your operation. With the data provided, you will identify superior animals earlier and maintain high operational efficiency. Maximize your profit and optimize performance with Identity Feeder.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz. We're both owners and veterinarians in production animal consultation. And Dr. Kip is a friend and a colleague and probably one of the best veterinarians I've met. And he is fantastic on the ground working on cattle facilities, and we're talking about that. And Dr. Kip, when you were talking about, okay, when you get there, people generally have one thing they want to fix, but that's not where you stop.
Correct. So a lot of times when I'm asked to go to a place or to design, they're looking at one specific item that they want, a building or a processing barn or a loadout or things like that. And so I start looking at the whole area.
Well, it's strategic planning, right?
Yeah. So what I'm looking at is okay, I know we're just designing this today, but how I design this might impact that in the future. And so what I like to look at is just like the big picture of things, of even like if you have existing pens, for example, like here recently I drew for a yard where, they definitely needed a new feed mill area, and probably a new processing area, but, and definitely some lagoon changing or water retention pond changing. And so I started looking at it, okay, well, how should it look? And I drew that out, and just in terms of flow. And then for the biosecurity, I look at those things too, and I start drawing then, like, where would I place the feed mill? Where would I place the loadouts? How do I control traffic in those areas? And how do I minimize so that we're not basically getting kind of bound up or getting into traffic jams?
So I think it's really important for people to understand that when you have that one area of your facility that you want to fix, Dr. Kip's coming in and he's laying out a strategic plan that it may take you 20 years
Oh yeah, absolutely.
to get to that end point, but every year you're just chipping away
Yes. And then from
at
that,
making the improvements.
yeah, and then from that plan, you're looking at saying, okay, well, what needs to come first? Because if I want all of it eventually, like I have to pick what comes first, what comes second, what comes third, because it has to all be in a strategic place. Because if you're going to like remove an office or a shop, well, you probably better have an office and shop built somewhere, before you do that. Or if, and so you really have to be strategic in that thought process.
Yeah, I think it's outstanding. Once you have that strategic plan in place, what are some of the next steps that you help people with?
So I work with different engineering firms because I don't do any like cut and fill or things of that nature, or Department of Environmental Quality or those types of regulations. And so it's really important that they work with their local people, or if they have an engineer, or if they don't know an engineer. I have different companies, one in Kansas, one in Nebraska, that I work with quite a bit. And and so I give them their names, and because I work with them and they work with me, we share and exchange business, and it all works. But they're not necessarily, if they have somebody that they want to work with, I'm always fair game for that. And I've sent many of my plans off to other engineers, that it works with. So I'm good with working with anybody as far as the files that I put in, that they can open them up, and I'm not like, I don't own the drawing. I always say the customer owns the drawing, and they can provide that drawing to whomever they want.
Perfect.
At that point.
Perfect. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more on cattle facilities with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz.
They're here, they're hungry, and they can't be stopped with ivermectin. Choose Safeguard when you deworm your cattle to take out resistant parasites like brown stomach worm, Cooperia, Nematodirus, and others. With Safeguard's efficacy, you can kill more resistant worms in your cattle, so you don't leave potential on the table. Consult your veterinarian for the diagnosis and treatment of parasitism. Then bite back at safeguardworks.com.
Meet Vault, EverAg's all-in-one risk management platform built to bring clarity and confidence to every decision. With Vault on your mobile device, you get a fast, easy view of the numbers that matter most. Real-time percent hedged, P&L performance, current market data, and more. Vault is here for cattle producers, ready when you are. Download the app for iOS or Android today and take more control of your operations risk management.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here with my friend and colleague, Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz. We are both veterinarians and owners/partners in production animal consultation, where we oversee cattle all across the country, but mainly Nebraska and Kansas. And Dr. Kip, though, has a specialty and a niche of designing cattle handling facilities, feedlot facilities, all throughput type facility. We've even worked on packing plants together.
Yeah, and that's been fantastic. I loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Great project. And so helping to understand cattle flow, and I think to give, as we're going to embark on this series, so as the series goes on, we'll start bringing in different projects and different specific things and what you're looking at. It'll be a lot of fun, and we're going to learn a lot together. But talk a little bit about, oh, is my facility too small, or is it too big, or, who all are you working with, and what are some of the projects?
So I get that sometimes where people will call or they'll find out that I do this, and they'll be like, we're probably too small for you, or you wouldn't have time for us, or whatever. And it's not, there's really no operation that's ever too small or too big. I've done things for, 300 head cow-calf ranches and 55,000 and up feed yards, and then everything in between. So there's a lot of different. Yeah, there's a lot of variety, and And I've done reproductive facilities. I've done, South Dakota State at the cow-calf research facility, and of course at K-State at the feedlot research facility.
Well, now you've picked up a couple more with Missouri and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
What are some of the more common projects that you work on as far as when people are looking? Are they crowding loadouts and processing?
Mostly loadout and processing barns, I would say, are the most common. Right now, recently, I mean, we're working a little bit on some of the RCC projects, and it's not that I do the designs or anything like that for that part, unless they're redesigning pens or those things, then they ask those questions. But some of it's just in drainage and flow of the roller compacted concrete and how they're having to redo their pens and where they're placing their drains versus where they're currently at, and just kind of going over those questions of, will this work, or what's your thoughts, or what's your opinion on that, and so those are all really good. I always say it doesn't have to just involve drawing. Sometimes it's just consulting on kind of the experiences that you have or that what you see, and then when you do, because obviously when you put roller compacted concrete in, that's pretty permanent, right? I mean, you're not going to move that dirt for you're not going to move that for a long time. Right?
So when you get calls like this, big or small, how much information do you need before you get there?
What their goals are as far as what the project's going to be. That's first and foremost. Number of cattle that are just going to flow through. Are they? Is it new or existing facility? Like, am I remodeling or am I building from the ground up? And if we're building from the ground up, like, what's the flow pattern and stuff like that? Can you explain that over over a computer screen to me, and so I can at least see ahead of time, so I can start thinking of it ahead before I get there. And then obviously an address and then where I need to be, and then we try to select time and what the time frame is. Like, when do they want to do this? Some of them are tomorrow. Some of them are, in 6 months. So.
That's perfect. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz.
In the livestock industry, castration is a common practice to ensure proper herd management. All methods are painful, regardless of the age of the animal. At Solvit, we could not ignore the clear industry need for better castration solutions. So we developed Lidoband, a novel lidocaine-impregnated elastrator, addressing the pain associated with band castration. It provides local anesthesia throughout the castration process. Lidoband, a small device that can make a big difference.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idex.com/DocTalk.
Success in the cattle business hinges on a lot of different people playing their part. From the vet to the cowboy and the nutritionist to the feed truck driver, you rely on them to get their job done right, and so do your cattle. Your expectations for the vaccines you use should be no different. Bimeta's cattle vaccines were developed and are made and sold by men and women in the cattle business. No smoke and mirrors, just real-world protection that you can rely on. Go to bimetabiologicals.com to learn more.
When the ones who have your heart need your help, count on us for everything they deserve, delivered fast. We'll work hard for you so you can work hard for your dreams.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz. We're veterinarians, owners and managers of production animal consultation. With our partners, we cover cattle in Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, and Iowa. So, one of the things that leads you probably comes before facility design is understanding cattle handling.
Yeah. Yes. So,
and that's you teach that all over the place as well. So how do you work that into your drawings?
So it's a great question, and when I'm looking at drawings, and I think that's what made my deal take off so well, is just having that behavioral experience, understanding the prey animal and their instincts and their tendencies as far as what they do and how they do it, what they're wanting to see or not see. I think is really important. And so Bud Williams was one of my mentors. Dr. Tom Knopfsinger, partner, is a mentor, and from Ted Howard to Kurt Pate to so many different people that have influenced me over the years, and I truly appreciate every one of them for those gifts that they've given me. But the biggest thing is taking the prey animal. They want to see what's pressuring them, so they want to see. They understanding that when an animal lifts his head, that can actually stop motion going forward. And so, even motion, or even from the withers to the pole of the head, if that's even, they're usually going to go straight every time. And so, how do I need to design things so that we're not putting people up over the top of them, to where that animal has to pick his head up, or his or her head up to see, because that'll distract flow. Just simple things like that, and that seem simple, but yet are not. And then the other thing is just like when I mentioned earlier, like pinch points, but just like when things narrow down, we have to understand that that's more pressure on cattle as well. It doesn't just matter that the handler's there, but it matters that the animals feel that pressure of the fence lines. And so what does that mean?
And the other thing I really appreciate about your work is you're not just looking at what the cattle see. You're also putting people in position to be safe, and putting people in position to be effective. And one bad accident in a facility that's misdesigned, none of it's worth it.
No.
And so you work on that safety and freeing people up and taking less people to do the same job, right?
Correct. So the facilities that we design today typically take less people, for one. In those facilities, I always put safety areas that people can just simply walk through. Like there's no gate to open or anything like that. It's just a little walk through that cattle can't really see. As long as it's down in the fence line and they're going straight, they'll miss it every time. And so it just allows people to get out, be safe. And again, it's really about making sure that the people get home to their families every day. That's what's really important at the end of the day. And that the cattle are safe and safely handled, that they have a great experience and the people have a great experience.
So, Dr. Kip, you've talked about other mentors you had, but Danny Daniels was special to you. We recently lost him. The industry lost a hero, somebody who really revolutionized and changed a lot of things. Yeah. He was a lot of fun, but just a brilliant mind and just a get her done type of guy. And
yeah, he's one of my best friends in the world, and he's one of those guys that literally took something that his dad, Dude, had designed in the double alley to the single. He kept that concept, throughout, still have it today. They beefed it up a lot to help with feedlot and just more cattle running going through. But then Dude had designed a hydraulic chute. I got to work in one of the very first ones that Dude designed. And then with the help of Danny and Cade and the team there at Daniels Manufacturing, Arlen, all of them had input on the current hydraulic chute that's out there today. And cool. And when we designed that, it was really designed so that it would accommodate all sizes, from large bulls to the 300-pound calf, and He's just a really fantastic person, very innovative. He was always humble enough to say that he didn't know everything, but he could design anything and he could make it to where it was going to be comfortable for cattle, and he truly was. He was a bullfighting clown. Most people would recognize him with his Hawaiian shirts, and he's pretty free loving and just built a great legacy up there in Ainsworth, Nebraska.
Great. Well, folks, we're always humbled to have folks like Danny Daniels, and we're glad to have spent time with him, and we're very thankful for you being on the show.
Appreciate that.
Remember, if you want to find us on the web, you can find us at www.doctalktv.com. Always work with your local veterinarian. And I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, here with Dr. Kip Lukasiewicz, and we'll see you down the road.
At Merck Animal Health, we support you and your legacy by helping you meet the challenges of today with the innovations of tomorrow.